them come. This is their fate.
Got the bird hands. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay, here at my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh, where we talk about all types of gaming, tech, whatever we want to talk about, news, and yeah. It's been an interesting week. Got some stuff I want to talk about, and yeah, gonna get into it. But before we do, as usual, Jalen, Josh, myself, update the people on what you're doing, what's new with you, and how's life's been going in the great USA.
That's great, yeah.
Man, first I want to say, when we gonna get Dashy on this mug so he can get that intro?
What up? It's your boy.
Litter than lit. Blow out your car speakers.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But yeah, for me it's summertime. It's hot out here in New York. Everybody outside to party, to protest, to all types of stuff. And me and the family been straight. Just been working summer hours. It's a lot quieter, so I can think about other stuff. Plan some trips in the future.
Nice.
Otherwise, I've just been trying to shop for games. We'll touch on the Steam sale, but otherwise, I ain't got really much going on. So I ain't got no exams coming up like Mr. Boyd. But
Yeah. Yup. Nice weather out. Jalen, I'm gonna pass the baton to you.
Shoot. Everything been smooth this way. I mean, I ain't really been doing much. My AC in my car had one out, so I just been in the car getting cooked, boiled. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I'm sad, dog.
oil problem.
Man, they tried to hit me with. They said like 1,200 or something to fix it, and I'm just like, man, y'all don't even know if that's the issue, bro. I'm like, y'all got me entirely fucked up. So I was like, I'm trying to figure that out. But other than that, like Josh said, I've just been studying. I've been kind of MIA, just studying for my board exam or whatever. So once I do that, and I just be home free, it's the last little hurdle that I need to traverse. So that, and it was something else I was going to say. I can't remember, but yeah, I mean, just enjoying the weather and things like that when I'm not in my car being cooked. And yeah, so.
Okay. Yeah.
And I gotta pass you the baton.
Yeah. It's pretty much just the same. I ain't really been doing nothing. I can't even hold you. I've been just hanging out with the kids, doing like normal dad stuff. Doing small projects around the house, cleaning, getting the house prepared for the summer. Trying to get the backyard together. Get some. I gotta focus on getting some trees cut down, and yeah, man, just doing a whole bunch of dad stuff. I feel old as ever, but it's cool. It's part of growing up. It's part of moving to that next step or next stage. But God, is it boring? So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been playing some games in between, but I've been on my dad vibe, man. I've been just vibing with my dad stuff. It's been fun. I ain't gonna hold you. It's been fun and boring. How's it? I don't know. I guess I'm getting used to not having much time and most of my time being spent with my kids, and used to just I guess being less selfish and just trying to help out as much as I can, so that way the house is functioning properly. That's very important, especially as you get older. Just making sure the house is functioning properly. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been on, man. But Always nice to get away, talk to y'all about some games, some stuff I've been reading as I've been, you know, perusing the net. I've been
What
perusing.
what projects you say you've been working on? Like the
I did
backyard?
like I did like some backyard stuff. Yeah, I like went out there and I cleaned up the because my when we bought the home, the backyard it was like wintertime, so never went out there to really do stuff. But I have like a full deck, and I have to like get some of the because I have some big trees around my house, so leaves and like debris
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever sticks. So I just went out there, got some of this stuff up, went down there, cut the grass down to the lowest point, and now I'm just going through and surveying where I would need to help the grass grow a little bit better, as well as to get the grass to become a little bit more safe for the kids when they go out there. But that's a little
Yeah.
time. That's a little time down the road. So I might end up by helping our hiring some landscaping to just come do some small stuff, and then like I said, the trees. So I need the trees out of here, so that way it's not as bad of a maintenance job. Autumn leaves falling, obviously it helps in all those different ways. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I got to do that, and then I was just doing small stuff, painting around the house, getting some new furniture that I've got. I just wanted to refinish it with a different color, so for the kids in my room, so or my office. So I did some of that stuff today, and yeah, I just been doing small little stuff, man. It's been just keeping busy. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, and still sticking to my diet. I'm trying to work out, but I'm still sticking to the diet at least. But
Hmm.
all those things all at once. It's
I mean, it's good. It's
yeah,
like it's work, like real work, but still a good
yeah,
use of your time. It's like you learning all of that stuff, and even if you got to reach out for like professional help, you still
oh yeah.
like lay the groundwork for yourself,
So I
which is
know how to
useful.
do that stuff. Yeah, man. It's like you just keep
Yeah.
learning as you go, and owning the house gonna just throw you into that, and it's gonna make you learn a lot more than you thought you ever could, really. So it's
Yeah.
cool. It's cool. But yeah,
No,
that's
I've
that's
been
been
dope.
me.
working on small stuff, trying to learn how to 3D print.
Nice, nice, nice.
Because with the Steam Deck, like on Reddit and stuff, people always posting like different like blueprints and stuff for like docks or stands.
Yeah.
And saw a lot of them, and at at my school they have a 3D print lab, so I just took one of those blueprints, printed out a couple stands, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna keep looking what I can find, just make some stuff because it's pretty cheap. Like I printed a stand for the deck, and it was like $8, and like a headphone case was like $2. And I'm pretty sure if you have your own like 3D printer, it might be cheaper, but of course you gotta invest in that. But
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
No, that's cool. I never used one. I always was fascinated by them. I've never used one though, so that's pretty cool, and that's definitely something I'll be wanting to hear more about because I think it's really cool actually. And
Hmm.
I remember reading an article about the guy like putting together like a whole house. It was like Habitat for Humanity, like their first house
Oh,
they
really?
built straight 3D printed, like all of it. It was
Hmm.
crazy how they created and built this thing in like sections, of course, but they did it all through 3D printing. So I don't
Hmm.
know how it's holding up. I heard it was still good. So, but yeah, they can do that now with the right
Hmm.
cartridges or whatever they use. I mean, obviously, it's feeding full real materials, but it's interesting. Uh, so, but yeah, I'm very much so interested in like that type of stuff, especially when it comes to creating like building larger items with 3D printing, especially. It's just cool.
Yeah, and what I like about it so much is that it just eliminates the need to like go to Amazon and like I gotta buy this $20 case or stand or
Yeah.
whatever for my computer. Because
Hmm.
I mean, most of that stuff is like cheaper materials. That's why you can get it so cheap. But it's just like being able to make it for yourself whenever, and like you don't like something, you can just adjust it.
Yeah.
And yeah, It's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty easy if you already have the blueprints. But like, if you making the stuff from scratch, then it's a lot more work. But yeah,
Jalen, you gonna get you you gotta get you the blueprints for them keyblades so you can get for the
Bro, I need to go. I need to go look up a video on like 3D printing and like all the ins and outs of it and stuff like that because I never was able to like fully conceptualize it and stuff like that. But I mean, it seemed interesting. Like the little videos I see, I can maybe a couple keyblades and stuff. You know, open up a couple corridors of darkness. You know,
you need to make you some a fake sea salt ice cream.
yeah, like that tower in Twilight Town. We all can sit on it and see how
Man, that's funny. But yeah, 3D printing is really cool. But some of the topics we want to talk about, we're gonna be all over the place today. I really don't want to spend too much time on one topic. I just want to kind of do some blitzing here, sort of. Not really, but it's gonna be what we want to talk about and kind of what's been on my mind and what I've been reading and things like that. So, so one of the first things I kind of was thinking about when I know we were talking about Steam sale when we were kind of got my Steam Deck, and obviously I'm a person that has the Switch. I have the Xbox, I have the PlayStation, and I have subscriptions on both. I have EA Play, I have Game Pass, I have PlayStation Plus where they, provide games monthly for free. And then you have, like, I even have a Stadia account, even though I don't use it often. I have it just in case I want to play something on it. I have a few games on there, and then I have... and then I have my Steam. So, obviously, over the course of time, with these subscriptions and with everything, I'm like, ooh, I'm gearing up for Steam sale. I wonder what's going to be out there that I can cop or, view my backlog. And then the stuff that I was actually interested in, I tended to make sure that I didn't own it elsewhere. So most of the time, I owned it elsewhere. I wanted to buy Dishonored 2 just to run through it on the Steam, and I was like, I already have it on Xbox. And then I was like, well, I want to play it portable. So should I do that? But then I also have the option to play, Game Pass games through Xbox's cloud, play. So I was like, I can't justify paying for this, especially when, I'm trying to conserve in certain areas. Why would I need to buy this game twice? I already have it. So either suck it up and play it on the big screen or use the Xbox Cloud Play to play it on your Steam Deck. So Dishonored 2 was out the door, and then I was like, okay, let me play Plague Tales. What about this? I wanted to play it before Requiem comes out. I thought it was really interesting. Also on Game Pass and also on my PS5. And I was like, well, I have two different ways to play it and I'm trying to buy it on Steam Deck. Why am I trying to buy it on Steam? I guess the point of this whole thing is that and it's not like everybody is privy to all of this, but if you do own more than one console and you do subscribe to Game Pass and you subscribe to PlayStation Plus, 9 times out of 10 you have like abundance of games kind of accumulating in the background that you really don't think about until you actually, it's time for a sale to come up and you're looking at the catalog of games that are currently on sale, even newer or older. Most of the time the newer ones aren't really a good sale and they probably usually go through that sale throughout the year, and then the older stuff is like it's a deep sale, but you probably already own it or someone has given it to you for free. So I felt like when I wanted to bring up this topic is to basically set the premise of, have sales become lackluster in y'all opinions, and or have they really not been has it become a less of a big deal? Because I know Steam sale is probably one of the biggest because obviously it has the biggest library, but then you have like the PlayStation sale that's currently going on, then you have GameStop Pro Day, and all happened at the same time. I checked through all of that, and I'm just like, I don't really want anything that you guys have to offer. I'm pretty sure, Tina Tiny's Wonderland, the one game I bought for 70 that I returned, got my money back, and now I'm going to try to buy it for cheaper. I'm pretty sure it's going to be $30 by December, so why buy it now? I'm not going to have time to play it. So it just doesn't feel like sales are being respected as they used to. What's your thoughts?
Shoot. Or you go ahead, Josh.
I mean, you about to come in with your GameStop knowledge, but no, I agree that since sales are always like a strategic thing, like companies want to maximize sales in a certain period of time, and when it comes to like historically, Steam sale was always the best because like they would have like really big sales. Maybe they had like a shorter window on them, but you would see like a game that came out a couple months ago be like $15, or if it's a game that's been out for a while, it's like $5. And that's a good time to get like the PC version. It probably runs better than the console version, and even if you go to like GameStop, they probably still have the game marked up for like $30 or something like that. Used. And so Steam sale was always good to find those games you were waiting on, that like now's the perfect time to get it. And it was kind of predictable. It was like, oh, this game came out in January, and so I'm gonna wait till this summer. I don't have time to play it, but it's gonna be on Steam sale for like $10. But now looking at the sales, it's like games that's been out like 2 years are like $10 off. Like God of War is $50 on PC, and it's not $40 on sale. But if you look at it on the PlayStation, they were giving it out for free for like with the PlayStation Plus, and even still, it's been like less than $20 for forever now. So if you didn't already play God of War, this feels like the bad time to buy it because they're still charging almost a premium for it, and it's a 2-year-old game already. Well, it's more than 2 years old, and it's been out on PC for a long time as well. Yeah,
probably more. I think it's like 5 years now. Yeah, it's an old game, and they're still charging. They taxing. I will agree with that. And I don't know. I guess I felt like when I was going through everything, I was like, man, I'd rather wait for a what's them called? Them humble bundles.
yeah.
I said I'd rather buy a humble bundle than the Steam stuff because it just ain't no sale. I mean, to me, it's not. I feel like
for the AAA games, it's not.
Yeah.
It's always the small games at this point that are actually going to shine, but
Yeah, I guess you're right there.
Mileage may vary.
Mileage may vary, definitely. And I like how they try to, but, they still have the same games that, I've played before, or I've had some opportunity to play in a different way. I appreciate them, doing like 20% off certain things, but like, Devil May Cry, these games, I guess the games that I was really hoping to like, have a deep sell on when I really came to think about the games that I'm actually interested in buying, they weren't really that much of a sale anyway. Like Guilty Gear Strive, I was just like, I continue to wait. I waited this long, so I might as well just wait more.
Yeah.
So everything just felt like it was skippable. It wasn't like a really enticing sale. Even when the Teeny Tina's Wonderland for $47 is not enticing at all to me.
Yeah.
So it's just like I was gonna buy Risk of Rain, and I was like, I can play that. I don't have that on the other games consoles. So then I started to look up PC only games. It's like because I was like, if it's on the console, bro, I don't really care because I can play it on the console somewhere, and it'd probably be cheaper, or it might not be cheaper. I mean, that's fine. I'm just saying I have a now, and it's probably just a me problem. I'm expecting the average Joe out there to probably still have 2 consoles. I'm not expecting everybody to just have one, but the average Joe probably has two consoles, and they had it throughout the PS4 and they had it throughout the PS5 generation. You have those backlogged games that you could play or at least had access to that runs on the PS4 and the PS5 now, and you could probably play it on the PS5 and just look better or maybe even run better a little bit, and especially on the Xbox. So it just feels as if it's diminishing to kind of run to the Steam sale because I now have they have they have created that bridge. Xbox has created the bridge of older games that I couldn't play that I might want to go back to, as well as the new generation moving forward. So, well, Steam had that it had that exclusive the access to backwards compatibility. It wasn't really that much you can do about it. Obviously, Nintendo was its own thing, but that was their thing. Now it's not really like it's not like obviously it's not matching Steam, but it's there and where you can like play older games and play Xbox 360 games and play Xbox One games, and now Series X games, and it's sometimes comparable or even runs better than my PC setup on my Xbox Series X. So it just what I want to buy now on Steam, and it's kind of what we kind of was talking about, was those like you know smaller games, story games that I haven't played or experienced, and they have to be something I really just like. I was thinking about buying Near Replicant, but it was still $30, so I was like, that's just not cheap enough for me to try Near again because I obviously didn't like Automata, and I was like, maybe I could try it, but it's still $30. So I was just like, no, I'm gonna wait on that too, and it kept becoming more of I'll wait on it, I'll wait on it, I'll wait on it, and yeah. So I think for myself that these games probably the sale has begun to waver, or at least I have become more picky about what I'm going to try and picky about how I'm going to spend my money because I was thinking about buying Mass Effects on here and playing it portable, and I was just like, well, the Xbox has that right now for free. Well, how would I ever buy it on here? So it just makes it hard for me to kind of start to move my library over here when I have such a big one here. So it kind of causes me to kind of think about it like, well, do I want to pay for the premium to just play it on the go and like play it on my while I'm just sitting in my bed? And honestly, the cloud gaming has caught up and it provides a decent experience, especially for story games that I don't really care. So yeah, I guess my this entire point is that I feel like they have just lost their step when it comes to really providing a very strong and cool lineup of really good sales, because it's so many different factors now that cause it to not feel like an impactful sale. What's your thoughts on sales, Jalen? I know you are anti everything, but I know you got some stuff that you purchased in the past, and you know a little bit more about them GameStops than most.
Man, I ain't anti everything. I ain't anti y'all, am I?
I guess
Okay.
not. I guess not. You're right. You're right, King. My bad. My bad.
Nah, I'm gonna be anti y'all now. Not just one, but what standpoint do you want? You like just sales and like general? Because y'all, I know y'all been talking about like the Steam sale and stuff like that, and clearly I ain't got a Steam Deck because I'm anti everything. So,
I mean, I feel
um,
like it's the same overall. Like
Yeah.
all the stores have like the Xbox what's the sales called? the
Xbox sales is. I mean, I think they just call it.
flash
Yeah,
sales.
flash
Yeah.
deals and stuff like that. So
Like those, and I feel like those were always good, but then like GameStop started being, how to put it? Um would y'all agree that like GameStop used to have really good sales at one point and then the sales got worse over time, but those were still like the only way to get the games?
I mean, I think
Yeah, I think GameStop was the one that you wanted to go to because you had the option to trade in and get cheaper items,
Yeah,
especially when
trade
it
in and
came.
get like
Yeah,
5 games for like $50 or something like that. But I feel
yeah.
like nowadays you might still be able to do it, but you gotta have a membership and you gotta go at the right time when they got promotions.
Hmm.
And the games are still $20 to $30 instead of like 5 or 10.
I
Yeah.
mean, like I I don't know, man. I honestly I feel like as times like change, like accessibility is like greater. So like you got a lot of different options and things like that. So like thinking way back when we was running a jug on like GameStop and stuff like that, they didn't have like stuff like Game Pass and uh you know what I'm saying? Like, well, let me rephrase it. I don't know when Game Pass actually came out, but it's not as prominent as it is now. So,
Hmm.
they done had those sorts of things. And then just even going back way further, like sales, they mattered a little bit more because we didn't have things like slick deals where everybody communicating and stuff like that, and the Twitters where people dropping deals and all these sorts of things for like games and stuff that you might want to go get or whatever. So, I just say all that to say like yeah, I think the sales have like, diminished a little bit in like value and stuff like that, but they just I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Like they definitely diminish and stuff like that, but I think a lot of it is attributed to like accessibility, different ways you can get the game and things like that. And then going to that GameStop point that you had, I feel like they used to have like trade in two of these games on this list or something like that and get this brand new game for $10 or things like that. But I know they changed a lot of stuff with their trade values and things like that too. Like you say, you need to have a pro membership. They got pro exclusive deals. But
Do
yeah,
you
I
feel
don't really know.
like do you feel like digital sales have become better than physical sales as of yet or close?
Uh, I don't really partake in digital sales, so I can't really speak on that to its entirety. Just because like I can't get the game. I'm a conservative game buyer, so I need to see value in a game, and if I'm gonna get rid of the game, or I need to be able to get rid of the game for if it's gonna be able to retain some form of value or whatever, unless it's like a multiplayer game and stuff like that. So going to like answer your question about like the digital sales and things like that. I mean, you was a flash sale king, you know what I'm saying? So like you was in flash sales. We knew where your money was going when we seen the flash sales on when you used to have to boot up Destiny. Like yeah, they
Oh
probably gonna get
yeah.
Beyonce maybe for like 15, 30 or something like that, but it's all right though. I always
Oh,
felt
no.
like PlayStation. I felt like Xbox always had better digital sales than PlayStation. PlayStation always it was never a reason to buy nothing off the PSN store because you can go to GameStop and get it cheaper. And then on top of that, when they started coming out with all this like DLC stuff, like when we stepped into this like huge DLC era where you're not getting an incomplete games or you're not getting a complete game and all that type of stuff. Like prime example, Fighter Dragon Ball Z Fighter is like you can get the game. It'd be $60. We talking 2 years down the line. The game is $60. I bet you I can pull it up and they still want bread for that game. But you can go get it cheaper, and the game value diminishes because they start having expansions and stuff like that. So the expansions become the bigger selling points of the game, similar like Destiny and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
the issue I was having was that why is PlayStation still selling this game for $60, and then they selling a season pass? We on season 2 now. They selling a first season pass, calling it the Ultimate Pack, or y'all can fact check exactly what it's called. But the point is, y'all selling the Ultimate Pack when it come with the first season pass for I think it was like maybe like 100 or like 110 or something like that. But I'm like, you can get fighters way cheaper now, and the first season pass don't have as much value as it did before because if you was to go buy the stuff a la carte in a different form or fashion, then you can get it way cheaper than paying I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Say it was $90 or $100 or something like that. There's no reason you should pay that much money for that game at this point in time. So I say all that to say that PlayStation never really had deals. It was never anything compelling to go buy something off the PlayStation Store, and it was just
Hmm.
always like they was just like I just said they was money hungry, man. I ain't never find like excellent deals on there, and then the fact that you got to have a subscription get a so-called better deal when you can still go to GameStop and get the game cheaper, to me is just absurd. So I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like Xbox had flash sales more often that had like something decent, but maybe let's say they're equal. I will say physical games were always cheaper. 90, 95% of the year they're always cheaper because you go to GameStop, pick it up for guaranteed less than $30. For example, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I remember I bought that on Xbox. But if you want to buy it, let's say a year after it came out, you go to GameStop, it's probably like $20. But that doesn't include any DLC, probably. You got to buy the season pass and all that separately. And that was always my issue, especially during like the Xbox 360 era. It's like, oh, I bought Dead Space 2 for cheap, but they want all this money for DLC, blah blah blah. So if I want all that, I end up gonna still spend $60. With the flash sales, it seems like they give out the DLC a lot cheaper. Because when I bought Assassin's Creed Odyssey, normally the game with all the DLC is like $100, but the flash sale was 20 for all the DLC, and I feel like that specific day or weekend that the sale was going
Mm-hmm.
was way better than what you would get at GameStop. However, that sale probably comes, once or twice a year.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. Like I will. I'm kind of anti. Like I said, I'm a conservative buyer and things like that. When it comes to that, I don't really like condoning like buying DLC and stuff like that. But I will say like there has been times where the DLC was actually like cheaper, or it just made more sense to buy the DLC with the flash sale rather than just like buying a game. Like you say, you can go get the game elsewhere, go pay 17.99, and then you can go get the DLC because they got it on sale or something like that. So I would say that was probably the best time. The last time that I vividly remember actually taking advantage of like a sale that they had was, I know, Square Enix fanboy coming in. Wow, y'all here? No, just it was
Final
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy,
15.
yeah, 15, the Royal Edition. But when you did all the math and stuff, it made sense to do it this way because I'm like, well, I got 15 physical because I can trade it in, so I can go trade that game in, use my store credit to go get, what I'm saying, like a PSN like card or something like that, and then go buy the little thing because it come with the game and all the DLC and stuff with it. And I think it was like maybe like $30 or something like that. And I traded the game in for like I probably got like $10, $15 for it. So it just made sense to do all that because all the DLC I was getting was like $60 itself. So
Mm-hmm.
in those circumstances it made more sense to do it. But yeah, so
Okay. Well, no, I agreed. I think when you're kind of talking about it and you're kind of explaining reasonings behind and like accessibility, I think that does play a huge part. I think uh, the layering of, because I do believe right now it's easier to find. It's easier to find a good sale on digital games than it is to find a good sale on physical. Um, and sometimes it's a mixture of both, but most of the time it's pretty good chance you're going to get multiple times of a digital game going on sale and versus a physical game. You probably have to wait for like 2 or 3 times out the year to do so. So, and on top of that, you have a lot of subscriptions now, where they add games into some said subscription to give you more, give you some buying power back, so you have more, haste when it comes to like just, oh, this game's on sale, but maybe they're gonna put it in Game Pass, or maybe they're gonna put it on PlayStation Plus Extra, so maybe I shouldn't wait on it, or maybe they're gonna give it to us for free one of these weeks or one of these months. So it's causing people to be hasty on when they buy stuff. It's causing people to not really care for when a big sale comes, because 9 times out of 10 that game is going to still be on sale at some point later down the line, because they're way too frequent and on all types of platforms. So it's not as if you have to go source that game from one place. And then it's also the diminishment of the physical gaming. Physical gaming is falling off to the wayside, so a lot of digital sales are easier to implement and push out. So it's always going to have that ability to catch someone's eye. So when I do see large sales and I see they got crazy 1,000 games on sale, tens of thousand games on sale, I end up just not caring because I'm not going to go through and search for the games that are on sale that I want to play. Obviously, there's the wish list factor of Steam and everything, but it just seems like it's diminishing when you have to search and seek for the games that you're interested in playing, when you should probably know off top of hand what you're interested in, and if it's not hitting for or not actually providing a good value, then you're probably just gonna move on like I do. So I think it's just a lot of factors. Honestly, I don't think it's just one thing, but it's a lot of small things that add up to a big culmination of that. Sometimes sales are useless. Sometimes large sales are useless when you can, maybe have an impactful Capcom publisher sale or a From Software sale or whatever. When you have those types of sales, it might be more impactful because you're like, okay, I know that company, I might enjoy it, but if you continuously put Witcher on sale for $7.99, it's like, okay, what else do you have that may be, maybe worth my time? But it just feels like it's a rehash of the same versus providing like maybe it's just the net marketing. Maybe it's how you present the games that you're trying to put on sale. Maybe it's bubbling up those successful games to the top. But honestly, I'm so sick of seeing Grand Theft Auto, Witcher, Sea of Thieves. I'm sick of seeing like Hollow Knight. I'm sick of seeing like Days Gone. Tales of
You strike a
Arise,
good.
Devil May Cry, Mafia, like those games are constantly on sale. So it's just like,
You, yeah, you strike a good point. I ain't never think about it that. I think when I see the flash sale, like you said, there's a lot of games that go through. If you, I ain't gonna say if you wasn't thinking about. Well, that's kind of how I'd be like. If I ain't thinking about it and I ain't really want it, you know what I mean? Like it ain't on my wish or I know
yeah,
PlayStation, they kind of got a wish list, but I ain't thinking about it. So clearly, I don't need the game or whatever. I forgot all about this, that, and then the fatigue you get from seeing the same games. Like I remember, it's been numerous times they be like, "Oh, flash sale," and I'm like, "Man, I didn't y'all just have a flash sale like a week ago or something?" Or y'all like, because when you start saying it's a sale, and you keep telling me that y'all having a sale, like how is y'all having a sale? Like a sale's supposed to be this event, right? Y'all have this event that's occurring in my head because it's so saturated that it's always a flash sale going on. Like I feel like a flash sale go on for at least 26 out of the 52 weeks of the year. So I'm like, hey, why do it? It feels less special. And then, like you said, you had the same games. They always talking about Grand Theft Auto, get these shark cards, boy. Like, The Witcher. I'm like, this game been on sale. Like, how come you don't just leave the price here? And so it's like that. So, but I do got a question for you. Like, what made you a consumer of this like flash sale? Like, what piece used to get you? Was it the idea that it was like on sale? Like the what is it? Fear of missing out. Was it you actually wanted some of these things, or like you just saying money to get use, not money, but opportunity to get more for less? Like I remember you bought like the season pass for Street Fighter or something like that, or
yeah. It
like those
was
sorts of things.
honestly
But
DLC. So, um, I know now. I know myself enough to know that if I don't really enjoy the game, DLC ain't gonna help me get there. So it's like, say for instance, I'm not saying Witcher because I like The Witcher. If I buy Witcher 3's, with the DLC packs, and I never played Witcher, I'm like, well, I can get this DLC too, and it's gonna be cheaper than anybody else paid. Plus, I'm gonna have the full game plus everything that comes along with it. So I'm getting a complete game at this time. Maybe when I have time to actually play it, that's the benefit, right? The benefit is that you get the DLC that you normally would not get if you were to just buy said game and bought it at the right time at the time of others buying it, right? Then there's games that just have their they don't really have anything, like they just have that game, like Ghost Runner, and it's like $11.99 right now, and it normally like 30. So if I wanted to play that game, it would be the opportune time to buy in because it's $11.99. But then you have to think about the value proposition. Plus, I already have Ghost Runner on my Steam Deck. Yeah. No, I have it. No, actually, I have it on my PlayStation. So if I have it on my PlayStation and I have that game else, it basically always came down to the value of the game and how much extra I would get if I was to purchase. So they have a flash sale, and I felt like it was a deal. Most of the time, it was never really just to buy the base game of anything. I never bought the base game of anything on flash sales. It was more so the place game plus DLC. So that plus DLC portion would give me and say, dang, okay, well, this might not go back on sale. But then I realized after a few flash sales that everything would go back on sale. So it was never really a reason for me. So it never was a fear of missing out after like the first or second one. It was more of I feel like this is a value I might want, and I feel like I might play it, and then 9 out of 10 it would just not be played completely through. Even when my wife bought me Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath Collection Edition, where you get like you get the Mortal Kombat. I beat Mortal Kombat 11. And I didn't never go back to play a DLC though, but she bought that with the DLC in mind to provide me more of a complete game. Obviously, I love fighters. I don't have the time to play them, and that was something I was going to play with her, and I just never got around to it. But it's basically that value proposition. Really, it's not about fear of missing out. It's really just what more can I get for the value of the game now, and most of the time that becomes a digital space. It's not. They're not going to do that if you go physical. Like, if you go physical and you go in the store, they have to come out with an actual fit hard package of that game. They never do that most of the time. Where they, like Mortal Kombat did, the Aftermath Collection was a physical game, but most games, they don't do Game of the Year edition like they used to. They don't do, like Ubisoft will probably never do it. They just give you everything and they call it the ultimate, but they're never gonna sell you a physical copy of the ultimate edition or whatever, or even like an EA game. Definitely not Bethesda. I think Bethesda came out with the anniversary edition of Skyrim or whatever, but obviously Skyrim's been on sale way too much. It's been way too many re-editions that it just doesn't make any sense no more. So, it just feels like I said, like a rehash of everything else that's old. They might couple in some new games here and there, but the sale isn't worth it because 9 times out of 10 you can find that physical game, if it's not DLC included, cheaper elsewhere later down the line. It's never going to be a feeling of, if I don't buy this now, I won't get into it. None of the games follow that pattern anymore. All games race to the bottom. Only games that really don't do that is like fighters and Nintendo. So,
All right, so a more comical part. Man, how many times did you buy Just Cause, man? Like, did that come with DLC?
I did not buy Just Cause. If I go to my library right now, I can tell you I bought Just Cause. I don't even think I have Just Cause, but let me double check.
Man, Josh, me, he had Just Cause a bunch of times. That in Days Gone. Or no, not Days Gone. Dying Light.
Man, I did not. Dying Light I bought twice. I bought Dying Light for the DLC, and I bought Dying Light the regular version. The DLC, and I beat the following while you talking. I beat that DLC. So I can't say I did that. But Just Cause, I bought Just Cause. I bought Just Cause 3 like once, and then I bought Just Cause 4, and I never bought Just Cause game. That was it. Just Cause 2, I think that was the one game that kept coming. It was like it kept coming up in like sales, not sales, but like cheap buy 5 games. Like it was like the GameStop things, but I don't think I ever bought it on a flash sale. If anything, it was Dying Light. It was I bought a Tomb Raider, even though I beat it on what's it called?
Deathbox.
Yeah, beat it on Deathbox. But I bought it again on here because I wanted to. I wanted to see how it looked because I was doing a lot of like comparison videos. Sometimes it would like have a reason behind it, and sometimes it wouldn't. But Just Cause, like I said, I never bought Just Cause. I would still see it over here in my collection. I only bought Just Cause 4, and that was um, a failure. I returned it because I got it through GameFly, and then that was it. I mean, Just Cause 3 I did buy, but I don't remember how I bought it. It definitely wasn't a flash sale. I would see it on my collection, but it wasn't a flash sale. Sir. So, yeah. Let me clear my name. Did not buy that game.
I had to try to flex on you, man. You know, flash sale. I'm like, dang, they finna
We
get
know
my
how
boy
many
money
times
again,
you
man.
bought Kingdom
Dang.
Hearts. We all know how many systems you bought that Kingdom Hearts on, G. We bought that Kingdom Hearts on way too many systems, man. So
Hold on, no. Listen. I bought Kingdom
uh,
Hearts. Let me see. I bought it on the PS2.
no flash sales.
I bought it on the PS2 and I bought the collection on the PS3. That's what I did.
You bought it on the PS4.
Correction, Simone bought it.
This man trying to get out with a technicality. He said, nah, G, it was a gift. Nah, man, you bought it. You got it again, G. Nah, man. But yeah, I only thing I ever bought multiples of, yeah, it had to be Dying Light. Everything else, I just did not do that. I don't think I did anyway. Oh shoot, I got Just Cause 3 on here. Hold on, wait.
Man, I was about to say, I knew you bought that in a flash sale, dude. I knew it. I wasn't gonna press it, dude. But I remember coming home, dude.
Wait, hold
Man, I don't
on.
even remember, dude. I just remember seeing
the
it.
DLC? Let me see.
That game had DLC?
Dang, I do got the DLC. Sea Heist. Okay, I got the Mechland Assault. Oh no, the Sky Fortress.
Josh, thought he was gonna clear his name, man. I was like, man, I remember you saying you bought that game, dude. I remember that in Street Fighter. If there's two games I remember, it's that in Street Fighter. Maybe Dying Light, but I ain't gonna
I must have bought it on here and never bought it on my other system. Or did I get it on my Xbox and then I bought it on here with the DLC? It had to be one of those situations.
Yeah, it probably was that.
Yeah, because I must have played it on my Xbox, beat it, and then I was like, I'm about a DLC on the Flash, and you was like, man, stop, you ain't got that game. I think that's what happened.
Dude,
I think that's exactly what happened because if I pull up my Xbox, I'm sure I got some achievements on that thing. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I guess I'm exposed a little. Not really though. Like I said, I ain't buying multiples. I maybe bought it once or twice, but I guess that's multiples. But
man,
yeah.
That's all good though, man. I mean, I bought Kingdom Hearts a couple times. I mean,
I got exposed. I said, hold on, that bug ain't in here. I kept scrolling down. I said, Just Cause. I said, no. That bug said, download to install. I said, no. Yeah, but yeah, man. I guess but yeah, I think and I am you're right. I'm definitely someone that actually participates in sales. I just don't care anymore. I feel like I got enough games that's like really large, open thing of games that really doesn't matter the more to even think about it. But moving on, because that was a long topic, something caught my fancy. It's called Evil West. It's by Focus Entertainment. It feels like it kind of looks like The Order 1886 and Remnant from the Ashes in that type of style, but it feels like it's way more polished. Might have like a pretty cool or interesting, funny story, but basically you're in the Wild West, like that time period, and talking about 6 shooters and duels and all that stuff, and then you're fighting vampires. Yeah, they're vampires. So yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. I feel like that's a winning combination if you got good polish, if you actually have a fun and interesting gameplay, which it seems like they did. They kind of nailed the gameplay at least. Um, I don't know. It reminds me of those older games that back in the 2000s, 2000 like 10, 2008, 2009, Bulletstorm, stuff like that. It reminds me of those fun, quirky games that just, you can have a little good time. You ain't really got to think too much about. And they might have an interesting, like, little story to it, but it's nothing, like, major. And, yeah, I'm interested. I can say that. I want to test it out, see if it runs or plays as good as it looks, because it looks a lot of fun. It's just like, blowing up TNT, sharpshooting, melees, going crazy, blood everywhere. You fighting vampires, man. It's a fun time. But yeah, it came out of nowhere. It was probably one of the better showing through that whole showcase. I don't think nobody showed it. It just dropped around by itself. Like I seen it on the IGN post. Then they dropped like an extended gameplay trailer, and honestly, I'm interested. That was good enough. Hopefully, it don't disappoint. But it seems as if they have like some cinematic cutscenes, like some pretty interesting characters, settings, and like things that there's going to be happening. And they look like some big old bros. Like they real strong, cocky people. But that, like I said, it fits that it fits the 2008 era time frame. But
Do
yeah,
you know when it come out, or is it already out?
it comes out. That is a good question. I believe it comes out September. Okay, September 20th. It comes out on September 20th. So not too far away. It's like a couple months away. But like I said, what they showed, it actually looked really good. So, definitely looking forward to it. If you haven't checked it out, it's called Evil West. You can check it out. It's on IGN. They kind of, or Focus Entertainment put it up too. But yeah, it looks like a lot of different types of games, but it also has this very, this weird ambiance because you can go underground and you're like exploring the vampires like areas, and you got like this different kind of like you're now you're not within the sun. You're out in these caves, these corridors, and like these large underground caves. It's pretty interesting. Like I said, it looks cool. Enemies look cool, and the gameplay looks cool. So I'm hoping that it's actually going to be a fun game, and this is me plugging it. So Evil West, people, check it out. Any thoughts on Evil West before we move on?
No. When you describe it, it sounds like the Order 1886, because like didn't they have vampires in that game too? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it makes me picture, like I know you said Focus, but it sounds like what I would think of Devolver. Like
Yeah.
Devolver, they always have like a
A weird.
weird game.
Yeah.
It either has like a weird art style or weird concept, but it's fun and
Mm-hmm.
like they put a little money behind it, but it's not like a AAA game. So yeah, that's what it puts me in mind of. So I'll have to check it out. But yeah, it sounds cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice old beat 'em up, old style games. Something you can enjoy, quick burst, get off. You ain't got to really think too much about. That's what I like. I like games being games, not not everything we got now. I don't know. Everything seems to be got to be super large, big budget MMOs. They gotta be massive online multiplayers. They gotta be something special. I'm like, man, no. You can just play a decent single player game, and be fun. But yeah, I don't know. Very strange where the gaming world is going. But AMD's FSR 2.0 is now available on the Xbox Series X. Um, over for most of the time, the Xbox has been getting dragged by the PlayStation 5, and it just doesn't seem. I don't get it because it's like it's supposed to be on paper, it's supposed to be stronger, but really, most of the time the PS5 is outperforming, and I understand that people have more time to develop it, but it's like 2022 now, so it feels like they should have caught up or understood how to use it. I mean, but maybe we got some hope with this FSR. That's something that my Sony does not have the capability of doing. FSR is basically like the DLSS. If you don't know what DLSS is, like deep learning super sampling. It is basically a resolution. It lowers the resolution, the game's actual resolution, and then it kind of super samples it up to a higher res. So if it's 720p, it's going to super sample it up to 1080p to make it look that sharp, but it's only taking the power to run a 720p game, if that makes sense. But yeah, FSR 2.0 is a lot better than 1.0, and now Xbox Series X has the ability to run those, use that tool to kind of make their games run a little bit better. I kind of want to see where it goes. DLSS is really huge on the PC, especially for NVIDIA. It does a lot well. It has dedicated cores. FSR is a little bit less, like it doesn't need the hardware that NVIDIA states it needs to kind of pull it off. And it's a little bit more, how do you say, public? I don't know how you say that. It's like they run on multiple, like they can run on the video hardware, if I'm not mistaken.
FSR
right?
is it's, I don't know if it's like completely open source, but it's available for all systems to use.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you want access to DLSS, it's technically like the better like tool, but it's only for specific NVIDIA cards, which is how they keep their market advantage. They don't want it to be completely available to everything. So that's the main difference.
Yeah. So I think with that, we should see some. I wonder. I want to see first the games that they're gonna actually implement it, and then I want to see really, truly how well it does. I mean, already companies are using it. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's a few already titles out there, not on the Xbox Series X, but just like FSR 2.0 on PC. That I would not think it would work differently or too much differently than what it would be implemented on the Xbox Series X. So I don't think it'd be a hard ask to have that enabled. So I guess I'm looking to see how this truly changes what the games look like and how they run and everything. So I think at the end of the day, Sony's still gonna spank them, but we'll see. I just don't get it. I really don't. Sometimes I'd be really wondering. Like, I wonder. I think they had to drop that marketing whole thing about the world's most powerful console on paper, because that's what they got to put at the end of it. I mean, nobody wanted to market that way on paper, but it's a very interesting thing. It's kind of like yeah, you claim something, but you haven't proven it at all. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Of course, nobody knows the specifics, but it definitely seems like either PlayStation has like better support, or it's just easier to just like plug in whatever the developers just put in what they want, and it just works without having too much extra work. And whatever on Xbox side, like obviously you can tell with games like Elden Ring, From Software don't optimize their games at all.
Right.
but it runs better on PlayStation by default, and whatever they're doing by default is their advantage over Xbox.
Yeah.
Even if they're completely equal power level, they just have whatever set up easier. And as far as FSR, back when they announced it for the Series X, it's one of those things that doesn't sound exciting for, like I say, the common person, because that's pretty much a PC specific tool that you
Hmm.
won't really think about. But I've used it a bit. One, the Steam Deck has 1.0 built in, and with Steam Deck, you got to do a lot of optimizations, try to get over 30 frames for certain games. But
Hmm.
basically, it just, like you said, set your game to lower than 720p, set it all the way to 480p. And it's going to look trash, and you're not going to like how it looks. But FSR is going to scale it up to look native or 1080p. And if you put like a 1080p image versus the upscale FSR image next to each other, you might be able to see some differences, like maybe in the background or the textures don't look exactly good. But if you don't put them side by side, most of the time you don't tell the difference, and you get all the performance back. So, the game is stuttering like Elden Ring, and then you put FSR on it, and now it runs great.
Hmm.
That's the whole idea behind it. So if um, well, we're familiar with, I guess, games on Xbox or PlayStation have like the performance mode and like quality mode, but those are like preset settings that don't always give you the best how to put it, the best combination of features that you want. Like it's 30 frames per second and the resolution is low, and you're like, well, I wish I had more granular options. But with this extra tool, it should be a lot easier for people to choose how they want the game to run. If you want it native 4K, then that's your choice. But if you are okay with changing the resolution, it'll run better. And I was going to quickly say, like, one example is like when I was working on a school project, I let Deontay play my project, which was a game, and
Hmm.
when I set it up by default, it didn't run well because I was learning all the technical stuff behind it, but it was like running DirectX 12 and didn't have any scaling options for its like resolution. And so I think on a lot of systems it probably had performance issues. But once I learned all that, switched everything to DirectX 11, and then implemented DLSS and FSR, and they work pretty similar, like theoretically, but you can really see the difference where like the game was struggling to run at 40 at like 1080p, and then once I fixed all that and put FSR in, I could set it to 720p, have it upscale on like quality or performance mode, and easily get 120 frames with just like
Nice.
a couple settings. Yeah, and so
So
that's
you're
what
seeing
I'm.
like more than 50% gain. Like you're seeing some really
Yeah,
good
it was
gains.
it was 100% gain or more,
Hmm.
based off of those. And I think at best we should expect like a lot of games that are struggling to no longer have issues. I don't know
Mm.
if every game is gonna be able to go from 60 to 120, but we should at least get out of the 40, 50 range for a lot of these games on the Xbox that are like having these issues.
Nice. Now, it still is something that it's not something that's just like it's not something that's just like across the board FSR. It's more of a something they have to implement. Developer has to put into their game, right?
It so in the I well, that's a good question because I don't know how Xbox is implementing it, because
Mm-hmm.
DLSS, the benefit of that on Nvidia cards is the developer don't have to do anything. The graphics card is going to take over and do it. FSR, from what I've seen, from what I use, you have to plug it in, and I don't know how Xbox has built it into the system. If it's a system-wide thing, that's better. But if not, we just have to wait for like a couple updates for games to turn on the option to use it.
Mm. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much the key. I mean, keep utilizing software because it's not really the hardware that's gonna get better. It's software that gets better that makes the hardware seem better. That is pretty
Hmm.
much that's been the case for quite a while now. Is a lot of hard software making hardware look better. So if they continue to do that, yeah, they can claim that world powerful console based off software. So um, as they continue to go down that path, I'm more optimistic. Basically, I'm more optimistic to see what they can actually do with it. I'm more optimistic to see if now I can turn a 60 frame per second game into 120 frames. I think that's all really cool. So yeah, seems cool. Seems like it's gonna be a good time. Um, and I'm trying to figure out, the other thing that I wanted to, touch on, because I know me and you, I've been looking for solutions for, and I don't want to just carry around like SD, micro SD cards. They have like a new 1.5 terabyte micro SD that they just came out with, or at least it's been certified, I believe. I don't know if it actually came out or anything. It's like they certify it as like it's available for sampling
Hmm.
to customers. So basically, it is something that they have created, bleeding edge technology. Um, I'm trying to figure out what was the big pain point for them to kind of continue to go up. Is it like transferring, like, I guess it's the compactness of a SD card and how that all works. I really haven't wrapped my brain around what goes all into it. But basically, going from 1 terabyte to 1.5 terabyte is a big deal. So it basically allows for more games to be housed on your Steam Deck. That's the only thing I care about. I mean, I really don't care about the actual, technological aspect of it, or like how it caused it and what they had to do to get it there. All I'm looking for is to know how many more games I can hold on my SD card without having to swap it. Have you been trying to, or have you had to test out swapping SD cards, and has it been seamless, or have you not done that before? Like,
I haven't done it,
okay,
because I don't have multiple like large capacity SD cards.
mm-hmm,
But I've seen, people talk about it, that it's pretty easy, that you can have, that it's pretty seamless. I don't know if you have to restart or if it's just as simple as like pop it out, pop it back in, because like I don't want to mess it up. Even though I think
yeah,
it'd be fine, but I don't want to mess with it if I don't have to.
right,
Um, yeah, but that was one of the marketing points for Steam, is that it should be for the Steam Deck, that it should be a pretty seamless, that if you want to have multiples you can just go in. But even still, like I feel like I'm past the point where I want to carry around multiple SD cards, where like I got to worry about what games have what downloaded, if it's up to date, and all this type of stuff. I just rather have everything available. uh so that's good that they have the ability to put a lot more games on there, because I
mm-hmm.
think a terabyte and a half is pretty good, like storage
Yeah,
wise.
no,
Like
I think
you
so.
you won't even need all that, but like it's really good for like a handheld, which you might have a lot of titles in there.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. I just don't like the fact that having to carry around or like swap them out and understand which ones is in right now. I really don't want to go
mhm.
down that rabbit hole, so I've been just deleting stuff and trying to be selective on what games I want to play. But at the same time, I really want to just load it up for some things that I want to just try. Cloud play has really helped with the Steam Deck because I do play a lot of the cloud gaming. Like I do play a Stadia on there. I do play Xbox Cloud Play most of the time. So it's, and I sometimes even emulate my PlayStation. So it's or not emulate, but remote play my PlayStation. So a lot of different ways to kind of play games on there. But I also want the experience of having the game on the said console sometimes. Not saying that the cloud play is atrocious. I'm just saying I would prefer sometimes to have those on hand. I don't have to be done with Wi-Fi or anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the that micro SD card in my Steam Deck. Is just trying to balance out what games I want to play on it and I want to finish on it, and not just, oh, this is cool that it's running on here, so I'm trying to get rid of those games. Like, I could try to play Phantom Pain because I was like, I ain't never beat it, but I was like, nah, I'm straight, because it runs good on there, it looks good, and, it plays well. I just don't feel like running around that type of map with that type of game for that long on the handheld. So it's just it's not a good fit. But something like Plague Tale Innocence, Dishonored 2, something a little bit more streamlined, linear in that way, I can do. But yeah, we'll see. Like I said, there's plenty of games out there on Steam Deck, and there's plenty of time to play. So I got nothing but time to look for the games I want to play, and then maybe I hit up the Steam deal. Like I needed like 2 days. I think it goes till July 7th. So I'm gonna take 2 days. I'm gonna look through, and I'm gonna see what games I actually interested in playing on the Steam Deck that I don't have elsewhere, and then I'm gonna hit up Steam sale. I'm gonna report back, let y'all know if it actually worked out for me. But right now, as I'm just perusing, nothing pops out. I'm not playing Shadow of War on there. It's just the known knowns that's gonna be on sale. It's like get out of here. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, same thing. All the AAA games I saw in there were, I feel like, too expensive for how old they were, or I already played through them. Only reason I would like rebuy a game on there is like if it's gonna play differently, because it got DLC or it got mods or something like that. But a lot of the AAA games weren't worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, games like Risk of Rain that are smaller, or I got like Somnio Files, which is kind of like a detective story, like Phoenix Wright type game. So a lot of those smaller games that might have a good story or have a lot of content that's easy to just pick up and play, those were like $5 each. But all AAA games are like $30, and it's not really worth it.
Yeah. So, I think we kind of hashed it again. These sales ain't nothing. They ain't no good no more. We gotta be real selective. I think once I sit down and kind of figure out the Steam games that I want, it'd probably be better for me to just have a wish list. But then again, there's sites that sell Steam games for so much cheaper. Like, there's plenty of games I bought on Steam that were like buku's cheap on like little websites outside of Steam. Now, are they the most trustworthy? Who knows? But they give you a key and you get your game. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the most legitimate. And Slick Deals always keep me up to date. It's a site called Eneba, ENEBA. Anyways, I ain't trying to plug them, but they've been doing pretty decent. I ain't got no problems with them. Steam games be $13, they be $45 on there. I'm like, sure, I'll take $13. But it makes Steam sales very less interesting to me. I always check that right after I say, I'm like, okay, let me see how much on Steam. Alright, let me go check out my other site. You know what I'm saying? So it's just lackluster to say the least. Too saturated, ain't that right, Jalen? They got too much accessibility now. Just too much out there.
Man.
Yeah, you know who set them sites up, man? That's them Jack Welch's of the world. You leave good feedback. Maybe you
Maybe
receive
receive
game.
key.
Maybe you receive key. Maybe you do not. Leave good
Please.
feedback.
Jack Welch, bro.
Jack Welch, the Jack Welch Chronicles go crazy. But yeah, so the next thing that we kind of wanted to talk about is another scammer. The CEO of Ubisoft. I don't know how to say his name. Yes,
Eves
Guillemot.
or something like that.
Yves Guillemot.
Yeah.
Guillemot. He is deciding to take he's voluntarily taking a sizable pay cut of $300,000. I think it's like $310,000 or $327,000 in USD. He's taking a $300,000 pay cut, and his salary is around $657,000, which is interesting. But he is the CEO of Ubisoft, so I'm assuming he should be making around $1 million a year. But this ain't no skin off his back. He rich. I mean, I don't really understand. You making $600,000. There's well above the mean for living a luxurious life. Nobody cares that you took this pay cut. It doesn't really solve the problems that Ubisoft ain't put nothing out. It's not good PR. Honestly, it just makes me know that you make $600,000, and honestly, the best thing y'all have done lately, I don't know, is just not put out another Assassin's Creed game. That's it. I mean, and that's not a good thing. That the best thing you've done is not put out another Assassin's Creed game. I don't know what to say about Ubisoft. I think they're in their own world. I think what happened was, what I think happened, honestly? They got really into putting out crap games and making them better over time. Rainbow Six, For Honor, The Crew. They were like, they just kept doing it. Riders Republic was good when it first came out, but it was just like this whole thing again of Ubisoft putting out a big MMO or massive multiplayer online co-op game, and it falling flat. Even when they, hyperspace or hyperscape, let's have some fun. I mean, all these games just be flopping, and I don't really know what to say about this company, to be honest. I thought that they were going to be going down the right path, but it just seems like Ubisoft at least haven't raised their price on their games. That's the one thing I can say about them. They ain't raised the price. They still $60. That's it. What y'all got? Y'all got anything nice to say about Ubisoft? He took a $300,000 pay cut. What y'all think?
Man, I ain't got nothing to say about UB Nasty, dog.
Man, yeah, you do. Talk about
Man, what?
Assassin's Creed Unity.
Bro, after, man, I ain't even finna get into this, bro. Just know I ain't had no faith in Ubisoft and they
what's his name? What's his name? Arno?
I think his name was Arno or something.
On Unity?
Unity.
They're gonna get to your dollars if they bring Arno back.
Bro. That had to be the worst case of buyer's remorse I ever had. And I was broke, you know what I'm saying? I was at Michigan State broke. I was just like, man, I know I did not spend all this GameStop money and all my money on this game for this dude hair to be stuck in midair, dog. Like, I was just like, I was sad, man. I'm like, bro, now ever since then, that was a turning point for Ubisoft. Because Ubisoft used to be straight, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, but after that, man, I just ain't, I don't know, man. I just stopped trusting them because I'm going to be saturated with glitches and just loot boxes, and there's all types of crazy stuff in the games. For Honor, or not For Honor. Yeah, For Honor, yeah. For Honor. Siege was cool, though. Rainbow Six Siege was cool. That game was cool besides
it didn't start cool.
Them bushes. Yeah, people used to be in them bushes shooting you through that garage.
It definitely didn't start cool.
For Honor was
bro.
Cool. Y'all got salty.
Bro.
Rainbow Six Extraction. Oh, yeah, that did come out, huh?
Oh, yeah, Extraction was cool. But that was a $40 game. Like, they weren't even asking
the full amount for that one, yeah.
Man, them games cool.
I guess Immortal Phoenix Rising was a good game. I just didn't care to play it or beat it.
Let me look that games up.
Bro, they ain't really got nothing, bro. They got Riders Republic. I liked it that. Far Cry 6 I did not like. It was okay. Yeah. Valhalla, no. They got the Ghost Recon story, you know, the Division. They just put a lot of money into these games that just didn't make it. They just seem like what do you call it? They're like watered down versions of what somebody already else did. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody did it better. Even that Rocksmith game, like Rock Band did it better, bro. So I just feel like a lot of their games, outside of the Far Cry series, Assassin's Creed was their biggest turning point for games that was like innovative. But everything else just feels like somebody did it better before.
What about Watch Dogs Legion?
What you think about Watch Dogs? Me and Josh both played it. We got bamboozled a little bit. I enjoyed some aspects of it, but but like totality of it, no. Some aspects of it was cool, and like the whole play with anybody type thing was cool, but totality, story, glitches, functionality, can't open cars, doors. You get out of car doors with the T-stand animation. Me and Josh ran to all of that, so I'm straight up.
Why do they be releasing them games like that, bro?
I don't know. They always release these games like toe up, bro. It's not just you be nasty, though. It be like everybody. Like the only people that
Ubisoft good for it, though,
and then you can't even the people that you supposed to trust, like Project CD Project Red, they even gank you. Like you can't trust none of these people. Nintendo, they try because Nintendo does a good job of polishing their games and making sure they run well. They're to the point of their polish is like mediocrity to me now. It feels like 30 frames per second at 1080p is just not good enough. Not even 1080p, like subpar 1080p, like 900p. Like it's not good enough. But I understand what you're limited by your hardware, but it's just not good enough in these times anymore. I just feel like you've been lollygagging since 2017. You've been riding on this Switch. Y'all scared to put something else out because y'all just know y'all might not catch another Wii U. So y'all just gonna keep on with this dang on Switch underpowered. I'm not playing Xenoblade. I'm not playing nothing on y'all console because it's all gonna run like garbage truck juice. So I mean, I understand y'all, they do their thing when it comes to like getting the games to run on it. But outside of that, I feel like they just don't have the support that I need to kind of want to play those games in that way. I understand that it's handheld and it's like very light, especially when you have the deck, the Steam Deck. But I'd much rather play the Steam Deck. So, and that's going to be the case for a while. But yeah, same thing with Ubisoft, same thing with Activision, all these companies, bro. They just, I don't know, man. I feel like it's you feeling oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say about the Ubisoft situation. I agree, and it definitely feel like this is their strategy. Is like they. 1 year they come out with all their big titles, Assassin's Creed, blah blah blah, and then the next year is like the DLC year and their smaller games, because before they were doing all their games once a year, and people got tired of that, so they switched to 2 year. But it don't seem like they actually. I guess 2 years might not still be enough because the games still come out not finished. So
yeah, Valhalla was supposed to be something that was. Valhalla was like the most polished of Ubisoft game I played in a while, but it was boring, and some of it wasn't even polished that well. So you would still have boats floating in the air. Like there's plenty of clips going around of stuff like just being disarray in that game.
Bro, I just be
But
wondering how they even do that, dude.
they just don't know. They don't know where to sit the asset. Like when they actually call the asset in, sometimes it's just like doesn't call in properly until like the code. So it's kind of like it floats, or where they sit it when it's not on screens. Like sometimes they have to call that stuff in from memory, and sometimes it just doesn't properly work right. Um, I mean that's just like that's like very very generic game design. I could probably be lying about some of that stuff, but that's typically what it is. It's like when they call in like a actual uh, um, piece of like anything like really like the boat like a texture or even like not textures but more of like an actual physical asset like a boat or like a house. Sometimes it just doesn't populate properly. Same thing with Horizon Zero Dawn. Like I played that game. Houses were missing. There's pieces on places that was missing, and I mean, obviously, that game it gets a pass because it was just pop in. You like once you got close enough, it'll come in. But you like literally looking at the horizon, like you're supposed to be looking at this big old building, and half of it's missing. So, um, that it's like you get. It's I don't want to get accustomed to it, but that is what's happening. I'm accustomed to. It's like it's hard to find good help nowadays. That's all it is.
Bro,
You can't really get mad at it,
I'm gonna get mad if I pay $60, $70 and the ship ain't where it's supposed to be at, bro. Like I ain't got that.
bro. Even in movies, bro. Like everything, bro. Everything is diminished. Like if you go to your local, it all starts at the bottom. You go to your local McDonald's. You can't even get hot fries. You gotta get your cold fries. You gotta get the angry person, the person that don't know how to get you in and out. McDonald's run a tight ship, but maybe hit up a Wendy's, hit up a Burger King, where they kind of lax on the demands and the time frames. Man, you be sitting up in there thinking like, who and what did I just come into? Because it's hard to find good help, and that's just the same thing with production and everything. So people would rather be YouTubers or whatever the case may be. Um, Sometimes it's just hard to find good help, and it shows, and that's why
Man,
you need to keep paying these strong studios to keep on keeping on.
so what about the Division 2? Was that game not good or Watch Dogs 2?
Watch Dogs 2 or Division 2?
Either like just Division 2.
Division 2 was
I think it's still getting updated.
yeah, it's still
It
getting
did. It
updated.
didn't. I don't think it launched good, but it's still getting updated.
Yeah, it's still getting up. They don't abandon their games. Um, Even when they should, they don't abandon them. So that's the good thing about it. If you enjoy Division, they still gonna have something for you. But I think the last thing that came out, ooh, ooh. Are you serious? Warlords of New York was the last expansion? Oh yeah, that game dead. That dang dead. Let me see. That came out in 2020, March of 2020. I remember when that came out. That was like right when the pandemic started.
I felt like that game got less support than the first division. Is that what y'all think?
Oh yes, it did.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say that game fades out way quicker than the Division 1.
Yeah, Division One got a lot more support. Um, Dang, I thought they had another DLC.
What
That's
about
it.
Watch Dogs 2? I kinda wanna play that game still.
Watch Dogs 2? Watch
Yeah.
Dogs 2 still got support. I mean, and not support, but I mean, it's like you can still play it, and they have like a summer sale going on right now if you wanted to buy
It
it.
ain't on Game Pass?
No.
Never mind, that game can stay sit tight.
Who just did the Uplay? Was it Sony?
Ubisoft just came to Game Pass, but I don't know if it's a separate subscription or if it's included like the EA one. But they have their Ubisoft subscription on there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay, maybe it is on there. Um, but I didn't know that. I
Because
didn't think so.
they just put a couple of the Assassin's Creed games on there, but I didn't look for Watch Dogs.
Yeah, because they had Rainbow Six Extraction. What? But it was a yeah. So I mean, they might have it. I'm trying to think now.
Let me see. Watch Dogs 2 Deathbox. No, that's $5. Dang. I ain't paying
And
for
you might
that.
as well just check the uh, Game Pass app.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, there were a couple Ubisoft games on there. So if it's not on there now, I feel like they'll add it eventually.
Yeah.
It's $5.
Yeah. If it's $5, then it more than likely is not in their Game Pass. So, yeah, that might be something you might have to purchase, unfortunately. But
Dang, man, they want $5 whole.
yeah, man, that's $5 too much.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. And I got Game Pass. The boy better be free. That's just fine. I'm finna see how much. Let me see how long is that game. Is that
uh,
worth playing?
I like the Watch Dogs too. More than I
More than
like
the
the
first
Watch
one?
Dogs Legion, and what? Yeah, more than I like the Watch Dogs 1. Yeah, definitely. But it was more of it had more like it was more polished, and the character was decent enough. But I mean, he wasn't the greatest character either. But he was decent. He was
He
more
black.
than.
I thought that was cool. I was like, hey, I was, hey, where can I find out more information? He black. I was literally like that.
That's what sold you.
Nah,
Uh,
I ain't sold me. It's what got me up. Like, all right,
oh
instead
yeah,
of playing
yeah,
with fake
yeah. You're
Batman,
right. Not sold you because you ain't got it. It was more of a yeah. Okay, I piqued my interest. You had my
yeah, you had to
attention.
play a fake Batman on the first one. I'm like, bro, like, what is
Yeah,
this? The edgy
yeah,
little weird dude. Like, I'm like, bro.
bro. I don't see the UPlay symbol. I see EA symbol. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. But I thought you said yeah. I could have sworn they had the UPlay stuff. Um, but yeah. But anyway, moving on. The CEO took a pay cut. Games ain't getting games, but games still ain't gaming, and Ubisoft still Ubisoft. So there's nothing much to that story. I don't think it was a good idea. I don't think it should be exposing you. I mean, obviously, I guess it's public record. I don't know, but I wouldn't expose my salary,
Oh,
especially if it doesn't work.
one other thing I was gonna say about Ubisoft is that they try not to get bought.
They're
I know
trying not
that
to
that
get
was
bought.
yeah, that was the thing going on with I get last year and still this year because they sales were down or whatever, blah blah blah, and there were companies looking at them to purchase them, not like Microsoft or Sony, but like these private
Oh yeah, yeah.
firms, whatever.
The private groups that be trying to come through. I think they own quite a bit. I think they just bought the Square Enix Crystal Dynamics, like the Western
Yeah,
stuff, right? Yeah,
yeah, and Ubisoft, I think the CEO, I think his family are like all in senior positions, and so like they're trying to consolidate their funds or whatever so that they don't get bought out.
gotcha. Interesting, interesting. But yeah, man, I think Ubisoft is it's in a spiral. They're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing, but we will see. We will see. Um, what was I finna say? It was something else that I wanted to talk about. Um, no. Oh yeah, we could talk about I guess the last topic can be about Miss Marvel.
TV, TV, TV.
TV, TV, TV. I want to be sensitive around this subject, I guess, because it is how do you say progressive? As in more diversity in character, right? I don't really enjoy Miss Marvel as a character. Like, I feel like the Avengers game did a better job with her as a character than this show right now. Level episode 3 in. Obviously, she can grow. Obviously, she can get better. It's obviously meant for her to be super into comics and super into like the superheroes and all that stuff. This is heavy spoilers if y'all ain't watched it. So you can click off, but essentially, Karina loves it, and that's my wife. I don't. I like it's okay. I'm more interested in the side stuff. Like, honestly, I guess that is what the show is about, though. It's not really about her being truly a superhero. It's just like, it feels more about, it feel like Miss Marvel, if she wasn't there at all, the show would still be interesting because the whole her powers, and it's like it helps provide plot points for the other stuff to shine, but it's not necessarily the focus. Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, it makes sense, and I think that is like you said, Karina like it, and I like it a lot too. And I think that for a superhero show, like, what's the best superhero show out? Probably like The Boys or something, where every episode you're gonna see something interesting, or people are like fighting, and it's like they're using their powers in unique ways. That's not what the show is about. Like, what I would say is the best part about the show is that they can completely remove all the superhero stuff, and I think I would still enjoy it. Like, maybe I wouldn't like even hear about the show at that point because I don't, I'm not looking for a teen comedy or like show or something like that. But as a show, I think that's its strong point because, like you said, the side stuff, like they're learning about their family or their culture, or all the side characters. Like, I think the brother's funny, and like her friends are funny.
The aunties.
The main character,
like,
she's funny, and like, yeah. And they got your girl from Apex in there. You ain't know that?
Rampart?
One of the, yeah, she one
I
of the
knew it
aunties.
was Rampart. You talking about? She's one of the. I knew it was Rampart because I heard the voice and I was like, that sounds like something I know, but I just never put it together because I was like, that sounds like Rampart, and then I was like,
Yeah, she always got like a funny
racist.
something to say.
Like, yeah, and then I was like, so that's cool though. That's cool and unique. But you're back to the point of the show being a show on its own. I would watch something like this just to figure out if they gonna get together with the little boy, right? I would watch a show like that regardless. I don't need Miss Marvel. That's my plight with the show, is that I really just don't think. I don't think. I put my thinking cap on and I think of it as in, okay, how do we sell a diverse show? And then they say, well, we can put Marvel behind it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But why do you need to sell me a show with Ms. Marvel in it to show me the diverse characters? I feel like it was just a way for them to do this it just felt more it didn't feel organic to me. I feel like I'm
Why do you feel like it's a diverse show?
I feel like it's a diverse show because that's all they talk about is the culture of her, like her. If they talk more about that than anything, like they're bringing us into her world more than any other character. Like if I were to say the same thing about Winter Soldier and Captain America and Winter Soldier, I would say the same thing about that show. That show had more action, but it was more about him being black than anything.
Yeah, that's my. Well, I'll say I agree on that one. I don't agree with Miss Marvel because the difference is that I think that a show like a diverse show is taking a white character like Bucky and introducing him to a black problems, and like that's the story. It's like you're a white character, you don't understand that, even think you and this other person are completely equal. Y'all are not seen equal in the eyes of the world, and him learning that. Whereas like I don't think Miss Marvel is trying to teach anything other than like here's a culture that you probably have not ever seen in a, you know, big budget TV show, and they're just doing the work to show you the culture. Versus like if you watch, you know, even though it's a black show, so I don't really count it, but like you watch Everybody Hates Chris, and like he's going through all the minor details that you would see from a black perspective because that's his perspective. And so I personally I didn't feel like it was trying to like be cool or diverse because I feel like, oh, this is just,
Her story in her world.
and it is. Well, no, what I would say, it is made by people from that culture because like all the directors and people and stuff like that are from that culture, and so I just feel like they're just showing me their perspective with the extra superpower stuff in it. Because like the thing that is like, so I'm not Muslim and I'm not a girl, and like they had one conversation there in the bathrooms. They're like, oh well, Muslim families or to them don't allow their daughters to use tampons or something like that. And like, oh, I would never know that. And I feel like that's just a probably completely common to somebody else that I wouldn't have known, and it was just presented in like a casual way. It wasn't like a episode about this specific thing.
Yeah, I guess you're right there. Um, in regards to, I should probably change my definition of what I'm talking about because I guess it's not a diverse show. It is a, I feel like it's a checklist of identifying characters, a character to
Yeah,
identify with.
but
I think that's what it. I
yeah,
think that checklist is being ticked off.
taking a step back though, I what it what you mean like overall as like the Marvel big picture, they have their black character that with Black Panther, they got the Asian character with
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, they got their Pakistani character with Miss Marvel. Like, yeah, I can understand that they're gonna go around the whole world and pick their culture and like highlight
Exactly.
that.
I just feel like
And
it's
that
not
like
about
sure, I don't think even
not.
from the game, like I don't think Miss Marvel is an interesting superhero. Like I've never liked her powers, no matter what. But her as a person, like from the show, like oh, she's still a funny person, and I like her character because like
Hmm.
she's can be relatable or funny or stuff like that. But as a superhero, she's not. She's never gonna be like a superhero that I like. So there's that. But I would just say that maybe going into it, they know that her powers are not that interesting, so they just made
Hmm.
her backstory more interesting instead of her superhero journey. You know.
No,
So I don't know.
that makes sense
Like yeah,
too. That makes sense. I just don't. I don't. It's not serving up that to me. To me, it's serving up.
hmm
We need to get a Latina, Hispanic. We need to get a Hispanic character. We need to get a black character. We need to get a It feels um. It just doesn't feel like this is this is meant to help tell a good overarching story. It's just meant to showcase characters in different cultures, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the story is fine enough. Obviously, I do not like the character because I think she do stupid stuff, but and like she make bad decisions, but that's not. It's not me for me to judge. I guess it's not me for to judge her on her flaws. I guess it's meant for me to kind of look at the overall picture of her, and that's why I was kind of like, I don't want to say it's a bad show because it's not a bad show. It's not a good superhero show to me. It just feels like it's a.
Yeah.
It feels like I've watched it when. Have you seen that show? What's her name? The girl is Mindy Kaling produced it. It was damn it. It was like they was going through like her. It's a Netflix show, and they were going through like this Indian girl's upbringing, and it's very
Oh,
similar.
the girl from The Office.
Not the girl from Mindy Kaling is the girl from The Office, but she produced it. Not the Mindy Kaling Project. I
Oh,
watched
okay.
that too, but it was the other show that just came out on Netflix. Very teen oriented. Um, uh, it was Never Have I Ever. We got 2 seasons.
Hmm.
It's basically a girl growing up, same cultural difference, same. I feel like they did it. I'm just saying they felt like they did it better. So the character did not need to be there, in my opinion, in Miss Marvel. But I get what they're doing, and I get. I guess I just seen it. I seen it done better, and then when I'm watching this show, I'm looking for things to kind of gravitate towards because it ain't the main character, and if it doesn't feel I guess I don't feel like it was done well. Karina loves it. She feels like the artistic, like the transition. I said I should be so more interested in the transitions and how they're popping up the text messages and how they're doing cool like moment to moment shots. I should be more focused on the characters and how they are driving the story. The side characters do more for that for me than the actual main, and I've just felt like um, I'm not going to get there with her. I feel like she does make bad decisions. I feel like she's not really. I guess it's that same teen, problematic to solve. You create a problem, then you solve it later, type of thing, right? Like the person
Hmm.
doesn't make a bad decision, and then you have to solve it throughout the episode, or maybe it's an overarching bad decision, and then you got to solve it throughout the entirety of it. The last third episode, when they were trying to actually like take her up out of here, I was like, what the heck going on? That was where I was like, okay, this is a little bit different. I didn't expect it to get too violent, but so it was really violent, and I was like, this is strange. So I am interested in seeing the next episode, but again, it's not for the main character. It's more about the stuff happening around it. And I guess as long as you're creating that, I can move along with it. It's not like I have to like the main character
Yeah,
to watch the show. But I just don't
but
think Miss
I don't
Marvel
know.
needed to be there.
I I like Kamala, and but I feel like it's because I came in with no expectations that it would be a superhero show, and like still I'm not thinking of her as like a superhero. Like I'm just thinking her as a like I don't know how old she is, but like she's just a teenager, and she's like trying to learn how to drive and like date people, and like I'm thinking of it in that perspective. If I was watching something else like Gossip Girl, obviously
Yeah,
everybody in the show is gonna make a stupid decision, and that's the whole point. Like all high school drama is you did
yeah, making
something that
bad
you shouldn't have,
decisions.
and now you got to deal with the consequences. And like, so my thing is that even if it didn't have any more, like it will have more superhero stuff in the next few episodes, but I feel like it doesn't need a lot of superhero stuff and fighting for her story to make sense, that she's just trying to learn like her place in her life, whatever.
So you
And
felt
I'll
like
say I
her.
learned that.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So you felt like some of the resolutions that were occurring during these episodes 1, 2, and 3 were like when she had cut to like being at home, and I just felt like the sequencing was off to me. I felt like it was too easy sometimes, and I feel like, well, this doesn't make any sense. And I guess I'm just overthinking it because it's a Marvel show, and I feel like most of the time they don't just allow things to move past like that, especially when they're like big moments, like when she got done fighting them, she just went home and went to sleep. I was like, what? How does that happen? Like, they know where you stay. The boy know where you stay. Why are you just going to sleep? So it just be like, I guess I'm thinking of it like a real action packed Marvel show, but in reality, I should be thinking of it like a teen, you know, grow up, you know, coming into their own type of show versus actually a legitimate Loki or um like a
Yeah. No,
yeah
I
like
would say
WandaVision or
since I've
something
been
like that.
watching all the Disney shows, I come to expect all of them are gonna have plot holes. Like every single show that has come out has plot holes, and if you're gonna like, if it bothers you, then you're not gonna like any of the Disney shows that much, because I can tell that that's not their purpose. They just want to have their story move forward. They're not trying to tell a airtight story. So that one, but two, like I said, if you remove the superhero stuff from it, she's at a wedding. Somebody comes to the wedding to fight them or rob her, she or whatever, and like another teen drama, and they get arrested. She's just gonna go home, even though in like a Marvel show, like, oh, she's gotta go find the Avengers, or she gotta go hide in a bunker somewhere because they're trying to kill her, and like that might make sense in the superhero story, but for like a teenage story, like, no, she's just gonna go home. At best, she's gonna like tell the police, and then that's it. Like, and
What was the point of
I
having the
wasn't expecting
cops?
anything else.
What was the point of having the cops be racist? Like the FBI people talking about, let's go find the minorities. What was the point of that?
For their perspective, like, so the whatever they're called, they're like a special group of police, whatever, and they said that we're gonna go to the mosque and blah blah blah, but they said that the FBI is a separate department and the FBI is already surveilling them. So that's like a commentary on like a real mosque, like probably they have FBI looking at them regularly. And so I mean, I didn't take it as like a woke moment or whatever, but like I said, if it's like I've never been to a mosque, I don't know anything about mosque, but if you're telling me that it's pretty common for the government to be investigating your mosque, I would believe it because of how people think of like their religion or whatever.
Agreed. I guess it. I guess I'm
I
not.
didn't
I'm not. I'm
see
not
that
talking
in
about
the
that part. I'm not
story.
talking about them being surveillance. That makes. I mean that doesn't make sense. I'm like I'm saying like that doesn't make sense as in like survey them. I'm talking about that whole conversation was just weird. It just didn't feel like it was a. I don't know. I guess I'm just overthinking every part of it. I just feel like stuff is stupid, and I just feel like it could be taken out, and it doesn't need to be there. I'm not saying that you don't showcase bigotry and like legit racism in a show. I'm just saying use it in a proper. I felt like it was just a waste there because I didn't get it. I understand.
Did you like it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yes. but that was because it actually had an impact on what he. I guess my
I think
thing
about
with
the same. It's just you related to it in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and like maybe you didn't relate to it in this one because I mean you don't
yeah.
have that perspective. Because I've seen the same argument about the Falcon and Winter Soldier that people talking about it on podcasts and stuff, and they're like, it's all right. The action is good, and the story is kind of so. But I just felt like the moments with like Sam talking about being black and the stuff with Isaiah was like forced and stuff like that. And those people were not black, but that's their perspective on it. And I felt like for me, it was the complete opposite. Like, obviously, I know that corporations are going to like force,
But it was them deducing
diversity
that
into
it
the
was an
story.
Indian, not it being an Indian, but how they deduced that it was an Indian. The way they just kept questioning her, the girl didn't say anything, and they came up to the conclusion that it was an Indian, and it was just like, how do you come to that from what she said? And I just felt like it was
So,
like
I
a
mean, in that conversation, it was like they were guessing and she was giving answers. Because first they said, she looks like you. She's white, right? And she was like, no, she's not white. And they're like, oh, so she's not white. That means she's a minority. And like maybe I'm not saying that that is a real reflection on how police interview people, but it was just showing that they're smarter than this girl, and she's gonna like give them answers, and they're just gonna fuck with her.
yeah. I guess I'm just I'm going to I'm gonna let the show be because again, it's not a bad show. I just find some things to be um out out of place in my mind. I'm not saying that I don't understand racism and what they do to people in mosque and like the whole situation about them coming and not even having like their like not even having a search warrant and like obviously all that stuff is common, that they're going to try to pretend like they have the authority
So,
to come in and do something but they don't. And then the ability for the girl to come in and she's kind of going through her whole the phase of finding her voice and becoming one of the members on the council for the mosque and all that is great. I
so
just
I'm gonna let you
go
finish.
ahead.
I was just gonna quickly ask you, y'all like the Netflix shows because y'all was watching them, but did did you like Luke Cage?
Yeah, I like Luke Cage. I guess.
And like I'll be honest, like I don't hate it, but I don't like it because I feel everything in the show is not authentic with the struggles that they're trying to show. Like every
Agreed.
time the two police officers are there, like the black girl, she's always trying to relate with the black kids. They're like, I'm gonna beat you at basketball, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, this is stereotypical. And then the white cop is always like saying racist stuff, like on purpose, like, oh yeah, the Puerto Ricans came down here, like ha ha ha, and the Puerto Ricans, and like, what is this show? Like, I don't understand who they're trying to market it to because this doesn't feel like authentic black. Like some stuff does, like the music and how they're trying to represent like Harlem after the 70s and stuff like that, but also it doesn't feel like a black story that black people would relate to. So I'm not sure who this is for. And I don't get that feeling at all from Miss Marvel. I just feel like
I
it's
am
like it's a
definitely
teen show.
not.
But even if it's the same, I would say like at best it's like better than Luke Cage's like relation to their own culture.
I am definitely not putting their culture on the stand because that is something I can't do at all. Nor am I trying to relate it that way. I am trying to just simply state that this show has very strange moments where they push the story
Oh yeah, and
forward.
I would never say that it doesn't, and like I can understand that, but
And
I just wasn't weirded out by the cultural aspect of it.
the cultural aspect of it, I was not weirded out by. I was weirded out by immediately going from minority to Indian to let's go hit up the mosques, and it just it that sequence of events seemed a little weird. It felt like it felt like it was there to put the plot forward. It wasn't really like any strong detective work or anything like that. It was just like we got a hunch that it's somebody this way. Let's go attack them because we need to get these cops to their mosque to showcase their discrimination. And that was fine. I just don't like the way it moved and that conversation went about it because it did not seem
Well,
as if it worked. It
they
just
didn't
felt like
jump
it
right
was
to the mosque after the conversation.
no. They
It's like
went
they didn't go
to
until after she was at the mosque, and then they went to the mosque because like she saved
right,
the boy from falling, and then the next day they showed up because they saw her at that specific mosque.
right. But that's what she said when she left. She said, "Let's go hit up the mosques." When she left, that's not. I'm not saying that
Well,
she
she
went
said
there after. She said, "Let's go talk to
but she said,
everybody."
let's check every church. Yeah, let's check every church, every blah blah blah, and every mosque. Like they cover all bases. They didn't just say let's check every mosque.
Well, maybe I heard it. Maybe I heard it, the emphasis on the last part, but maybe I
Because
didn't.
like
Maybe I
I think the
misheard it.
whole point of the conversation is that they were trying to trying to profile the person. The person is not white. She doesn't have red hair, and the girl saw her up close, and so like, okay, let's check out every place that a non-white person is gonna be. And she literally said, let's go to every church, every I forget the second one, but it was another like a cultural place like a synagogue or something like that. And then the last one, and let's check every mosque because they were trying to single out all the minority groups, and we're gonna check each minority group till we figure out what this person is.
Okay. Uh, I I am accepting of that reality. And I'm moving forward to the other points of the show that I just didn't find interesting. But it's not really. It's no point. I don't like the show.
I mean,
But I think it's fine. I think it's a. I don't like the show for. I don't like the show for a superhero show. I like the show for a standardized show. I think it's fine to watch and get through. I don't
I
find
agree.
that there there's no. I guess there's no real reason for me to watch it to like tie into something else. It's just more about me wanting to finish it and also get more understanding about because I do like that part of it. Even though I'm not I guess I'm not thrashing on that part. I'm just talking about the the inconsistencies of how what she does and like the mom not wanting to talk about her mom and what she did and like everybody thinks she's like the devil or whatever and I want to see what kind of goes from there from that like the cultural aspect of it not really to understand the power because we kind of know what it is and that's like the least interesting thing now. It's like the more interesting stuff is just really getting a better understanding of her family and her history. So that's fine. Like I said, it's just the
Did you
least most interesting part about it is the character. So
watch Moon Knight?
I didn't finish it. I watched
Okay.
4 episodes, but I did not finish it.
Okay. Um, the fourth episode is when he gets shot or something, right?
4th episode, I thought the last one was when he stole the he gave the guy his body and he stole the map from that rich guy.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Moon Knight is the situation that I feel like it's gonna end up exactly like this show, where they have the stuff about the family, but at the end, it's not what's gonna be the good part of the show, because like Moon Knight had its story like trying to figure out what's going on, blah blah blah, and they going around the world and they fight that guy and they get the maps and stuff like that, and all that stuff is not honestly not that interesting. Like I enjoy the actors and they were doing their job and stuff, but it's actually the last two episodes where they actually go through the how to put it. It's not the anyways, my whole point is that I'm not expecting a actual like story payoff. I'm expecting them to have a good like either character moments or emotional moments with the family, because I feel like they know that this is their strong point and the superhero part is not their strong point. And so same thing with Moon Knight. They knew that the superhero stuff is not their strong point. So we're gonna give you these emotional and character moments and at the end, because this is what actually is going to stick with people and not the fighting and stuff. Anyways, that's why when going into this show, like, I kind of see where they're going because they did the same thing with Moon Knight, and so whatever with the superhero stuff, that's why it's only like 5 minutes of every episode, because they're trying to get you introduced to like all these other characters who you should care about. So when she has to save them, or she can't save them, you already have a relationship with like her brother and her mom and all these people.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's something that I just don't. I just know. I know I guess the reality of what her powers and her limitations are. I feel like it's very obvious, and it's going to kind of cause more of a problem than it fixes. So, I mean, like I said, it's more about the character development of everyone else that it's really truly keeping me engaged. Again, when they started fighting, it made zero sense to why they was trying to like basically kill the woman, and they was supposed to say they need her, and it just it was like the action scene that they wanted to put in to make people feel like it was gonna they're trying to sell you a Marvel, but it's really just. Anyways, we'll see how it shakes out at the end, people. I'm not finna keep going over this show. I enjoy it enough to continue to watch, so hopefully you do the same. If it's half as decent as Halo, I shouldn't have a problem. Everybody loved Halo, right? A totally different genre, totally different things, but yeah. If you like, if you're interested in like understanding more about ones, or like getting like a sneak peek into another culture, and like really understanding. Sometimes I feel like these shows do a good job at that. Never Have I Ever, Mindy Project, even this show here, like even because the only reason I know about like aunties and them having to call everybody that they know aunties, even though they're not their real aunties, is because I was watching other shows like Never Have I Ever and other stuff like that, and they just kind of always talk about how these people are probably the meanest people on the planet to them, and they just are, that is their culture though. That's how they kind of do it. Getting more understanding of how they split up. In the mosque, they split the men from the women, and the women sitting in the back, and it's just that type of stuff. Like that's interesting to me, and it also kind of helps me type of like a small window into their reality on a day-to-day basis. So that is what this show does, and it does that at least well. So if you're interested in like seeing that type of stuff, I would lower the expectation on the superhero and kind of heighten the expectations. I'm just telling a solid comedy driven story about a kid growing up. So I mean, that's what it is. So yeah, I'll continue to watch, and I'll let you know how it ends. But I think talking to you kind of simmered my expectations on what I guess it kind of not simmered, but it kind of leveled what I should actually expect. And honestly,
Yeah, I would
what you were
say
saying,
finish Moon Knight, and if you hate it how it ends or you like how it ends, I feel like this show is going to end up similar area.
mm-hmm. Well, I think that's the same thing with Loki. Loki was more about him and his old girl, the girl Loki relationship than anything. It wasn't really about
Yeah,
Loki and his powers or anything. And I liked Loki, so I'm fine with that. I guess that realm of reality is simply gods. So it's not nothing based in reality for me. So I could just get with it. And like sometimes if they have something that they can't explain, I just say, "Oh, it's some god thing." I don't know, but this is like
yeah,
based in
and also it's
reality.
not a
Yeah,
new character either, because like
yeah.
you
You
know
know
everything about
Loki
Loki, so this is just a side story where like you're trying
exactly.
to learn at the same time that they're trying to like do all
Engage
this
me
other
with the
stuff.
other stuff. So yeah, it's kind of like, well, if she's doing this, why she can't just figure this out? Why she's acting like she can't figure out how to use her power? Blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, and then it kind of turns down a rabbit hole when I should really just take it for what it's worth at face value, at least. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. We're over time. That's pretty much all I want to talk about today. Any lasting words? Anything y'all want to say before we get up out of here? I'm pretty tired. Not gonna lie.
No, I feel like we said a lot. Getting their money's worth this week.
Oh yeah. They getting their money's worth
Uh,
most for sure, for sure.
and
Not like
yeah.
them flash sales, of course.
Oh,
Yeah, man. So, all right. Well, that's pretty much it. That is the show. Thank you guys for listening. As always, if you got to the end of this, you're the real OG as usual. I appreciate you the most. You're my favorite. But thanks for listening, and we will talk to you guys in 2 weeks. Peace.